Lots to talk about today in the Russian newspapers. In a moment, VAT hiked to 22% and petrol shortages. First, reaction to Donald Trump's apparent change in tone on Moscow. He called Russia a paper tiger and suggested that Ukraine could win back all its lost territory. The headline in Moskovsky Komsomolets: the hegemon flies into a rage. It starts off not very complimentary about President Trump, suggesting he's trying to distract from his failed pledge to end the war in Ukraine. If you've got egg on your face and can't fulfil your very loud public promise, you can't admit this. Instead, you need to stamp your feet, shout loudly and menacingly, create confusion and a whirlwind around yourself, and splash egg on everyone around you. It will give them new food for thought. And the fact that you got egg on your face so hilariously will either be quickly forgotten or go completely unnoticed. This, in fact, is the logic of Trump's latest series of aggressive statements on Russia. Statements in which there is a lot of barking and verbal poison with almost no meaningful biting impulse. But aggressive statements on Russia does not necessarily mean pro-Ukraine. Trump is making it clear that the conflict has nothing to do with him, that Europe, together with Kiev, already has enough strength to prove to everyone that Russia is a paper tiger. And all that's required from him is a fatherly blessing, which he gladly gives. Of course, together with this paternal blessing is Trump's consent to sell weapons to the Zelensky regime, on condition that Europe pays for them with a markup. But from Trump's point of view, this is different. It's just business. The politics is that the US president wishes both sides well. That is, he's distancing himself from the conflict and consolidating his role as an external observer. But also, recent experience suggests that when caught in a logical impasse, Trump often breaks the whole structure. Like a pendulum, he's carried to the opposite end of the geopolitical spectrum, towards new attempts to make a deal with Russia. The Kremlin is definitely ready for such a turn of events. I would even say always ready. So the Kremlin is prepared to be stoic about Trump's constant political vacillations. That would explain the rather restrained reaction from the Kremlin yesterday to Donald Trump's comments. Although the headline in Nezavisima Gazeta is "The Trump administration decides to become pro-Ukrainian," the article suggests that there is reason to believe that the US president is still committed to dialogue with Russia. While criticising Russia, Trump did not announce any anti-Russian actions, neither the devastating sanctions he repeatedly talked about, nor a sharp increase in arms supplies to Ukraine. On the contrary, he has set a deadline after which he will determine his policy towards the Kremlin, as has happened many times before. This time we're talking not about 2 weeks, but about a month. The Russian government paper Rossiyskaya Gazeta: Trump's Ukraine plan only benefits America. The European Union will pay for weapons for Kiev and bear the responsibility if Ukraine continues to lose territory. At the same time, Russia looks like the United States' natural ally against Europe, its values and leaders who live by these left liberal values. So by shifting the Ukraine conflict onto the European budget, including onto France with its severe deficit, Trump objectively expects that the growing financial problems in the old world will lead to a change in European elites. On to the Russian economy now, which is experiencing a growing budget deficit. As part of a new 3-year budget plan, the Russian Finance Ministry has proposed a rise in VAT from 20% to 22%. The deputy head of Russia's Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, called the 2026 budget a wartime one. Earlier, the head of the Russian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs, Alexander Shokin, said that the most unpleasant tax innovation for business and for the population, end consumers, is a possible increase in VAT. Retail prices will rise, again there'll be inflation, rate hikes again, and so on, Shokin explained on the 21st of September. Kommersant reports interruptions at the petrol pumps. In the Russian regions, the number of petrol stations selling petrol is going down. The number of petrol stations selling petrol in the face of interruptions to fuel supplies in Russia has decreased by 2.6% since the end of July, and in some regions the problems are already more widespread. In the south as a whole, the number of such facilities decreased by 14%, and in Crimea and Sevastopol by 50%.